Hey everyone, it's kind of late. It's a little after midnight here. I just got back from a Keyforge pre-release event, and while it's fresh in my mind, I kind of wanted to talk about some of my first impressions of the game and what I felt it was like. This is Keyforge Call of the Archons. This is the pre-release event day. It is Saturday. So there are 8 different factions in the game. Each deck comes with 3 factions, and you get what's called an identity card, and it lists all of the different cards that are in your deck. The neat thing about the game is that the decks are all unique. This is a thing that was really well published by Fantasy Flight before it came out. Every single deck is different from every other deck. No 2 decks are the same. You might have some that are very, very similar, but no 2 decks are exactly the same. And every deck has a unique backing. So mine is this green one that kind of looks like some wings, which is really cool, I think. And that also identifies your deck because every single deck has a different backing symbol. No 2 decks are the same back symbol. They made it really easily identifiable, and I really like that. So when you have your deck, you have these 3 factions, and you don't know what you're going to have in the deck until you open it up and take a look. And there's a smattering of different cards. They have basically 3 rarities. They have like your uncommons, your commons, and then your rares, basically. I noticed tonight that nobody actually said, I have a bad deck, which was a good thing. I mean, I was really glad to see that nobody felt like they had a horrible deck right out the gate. I also noticed, though, some decks are definitely more powerful than others. It seems like some of the decks that are more powerful are ones that have duplicates. Like my deck, I have at least that I know of 3 cards that are duplicates in the deck, and 2 of them are kind of powerful. One is very powerful. One is a complete board wipe. It lets me clear all creatures from the board, mine and my opponents, and I have 2 copies of that card. Having 2 copies of a card like that, very, very powerful. To the point of broken, not mine. I've heard that others had some duplicates of very powerful cards for all 3 of their factions, and that would be extremely powerful. But I felt overall like the game was fairly well balanced. You can tell some decks are faster than others. Some decks have more staying power than others. But overall, it felt pretty well balanced. I didn't hear complaints from anybody that felt like they couldn't play the game, that their deck wasn't playable. So that was a good thing, and I was glad to see that. I did think that my deck is kind of a slow roll, which works for me. It actually fits my play style a little bit. I do kind of like the game momentum, and then you can't stop me kind of thing. I noticed that a lot of the decks, there's a little bit of a learning curve. It felt like while your cards have synergy, it takes a minute to learn where the synergies lie and when to play certain things. It's not that there's not synergy in the deck, but that you have to look at and really find where those synergies lie in some decks versus others. Some, it's readily apparent. Other decks, it's a little bit harder to see how to play that. And you definitely have to adapt your play style to the deck you get. You are limited to the confines of that deck because this game, you can't change what the cards are. This list is set, and those are the only cards you can have in your deck. But I really did like that. There's kind of a balancing act with cards that are really powerful, have a mechanism called chains. So this is one of my really powerful cards called Gateway to Dis. It is the board wipe card. It says destroy each creature and then gain 3 chains. And chains are a mechanism that when you go to redraw for your hand at the end of the turn, if you have chains, it limits how many cards you draw. So you draw less than your opponent until those chains roll off, which I thought was a great mechanism to kind of prevent somebody from playing too many really powerful cards and then gaining a significant advantage over the opponent. Because while you can play those cards, you are then slowed down for the next several turns trying to remove those chains and get those gone. Overall, I mean, I like the look of the cards. Some of them have just great art. I mean, the Pit Demon is amazing. One of my other factions that I have Dis, Sanctum, and Logos. Sanctum, the art's phenomenal. Sanctum's like the Paladin faction of the Bulwark. Just amazing. Just great art, and it's really neat to see how the game actually plays. You know, you hear about this unique deck game, and you think, oh, what is this going to be like? Is this going to be too generic? Is there not going to be enough to support a game like that? Because I've heard some things online from reviews and stuff about the other unique game that Fantasy Flight's put out right now called Discover Lands Unknown. That it's too generic of a story to support the game. It's just too vanilla almost. I don't get that with Keyforge at all. Keyforge seems great. I'm not sure how I'll feel about it. Maybe when I get a couple more decks, maybe I'll feel differently. But tonight, I had a great time. I went to a local game store, played an attorney. I happened to win both of the games that I played in against some really great opponents. I felt like I was going to lose both games, and I ended up winning. And that, I think, speaks volumes to the balance of the game. And you can come back from what seems like sure defeat because the game works. So those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to get to bed now because I got to get up early in the morning with the girls. Have a great night.